And we should be live, guys. Welcome to the Untapped Podcast, episode 6. Today, we're going to be talking about Roe v. Wade and the overturn. What does it all mean when we come right back? Yeah, boy. We back, episode 6. Soul, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going? It's been a crazy week this week, huh?
Yeah, it's been pretty crazy, man. And with this topic, we're late but not late, I guess you can say. It's still being talked about. It's kind of just happened. I know a lot of people talk about that shit the second it was ruled or overturned. But yeah, it's a cool thing to kind of just touch base on this. Put some of our not our but some facts out there, some videos we're gonna play for you guys. I'm gonna read, the definitions of certain things and let you guys pretty much, I guess you guys have your own opinions. You can let us know what you think. We'll let you think for yourself. We're just gonna put stats out there as well, and that's pretty much it. We're gonna let you know, kind of what we think on what's going on, and it's a very sensitive subject for some people. So yeah, but so man, it's funny. We just had like this whole conversation. Like, oh shit, wait, what time is it? It's kind of messed up. I wanted to finish the conversation. But yeah, man. So how's this week been for you, dude? Before we jump into this.
It's been good. It's been just a little bit busy with work, family, and stuff like that. Hansi says it pretty gives us a virtual hug. Hi guys. Hey Candy, how are you?
What up?
It's called it's been just busy. It was called I think I already announced like 2 weeks ago, whatever. We have a baby on the way, so we're just kind of getting things ready for that, mentally and physically. Obviously, making sure my wife eats properly and stuff like all that fun stuff. It's called and it's called. Then we're going on vacation in a couple weeks, so we're just just getting things slightly ready for that too.
Nice.
Yeah, we're going to California to my brother's wedding, so we're excited. We haven't seen my family or my brothers in probably almost 2 years.
Okay. Yeah,
so it'd be nice to go down there and just visit and say hi, and we'll be spending like 4 or 5 days with them. Well, in Ventura, and obviously not necessarily with them, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, shit. That's pretty cool. So you guys are going to be busy. Same here. Got about another little bit less than 2 weeks before my kids come down for vacation. Stay with dad. It's been a while. So that's going to be fun and crazy at the same time. Going to be here with the kids every day for the whole month of July.
Welcome to my world.
Yeah, so it's gonna be fun. We're gonna have a good time, man. So that's gonna be our month of July. Obviously, as you just heard, we're both gonna be busy pretty much, and occupied with family. And with that being said, we're going to try to either squeeze in a podcast somehow throughout the month of July. If not, you guys are going to be able to join our Discord. We're going to post a link down below. So you guys can join. We're going to post some things in there. Hopefully try to get some TikTok videos going as well. If I guess me or you, so maybe both of us can, go back through our previous content and try to take like little sections of it, maybe make it into a TikTok or something like that, throw it on there. So on our downtime, when we're not on the podcast, we can try to at least get some traction going and get some views, offline, so that when we do come online, we'll be, might have one more person watching. Yeah, so that's going to be for the month of July. If we don't stream at all, I take my kids back the end of the first week of August, and then we'll be back that Monday. 5, 6, 7, 8. I think it's the 8th or whatever it is in August. But we're gonna try to keep up with posting things in between from today and then maybe next week would be our last podcast up until that second week of August, the beginning. So yeah, we're gonna be busy, man. That's it. Okay, cool. So today's topic, as you guys are aware, and you can see in the title there, Roe v. Wade overturned. This is what the Supreme Court has done. And we're going to, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to throw out some information, some definitions, some stats, and we're going to let you guys pretty much, come up with your own thing about it. And again, please feel free to comment below. Let us know your thoughts. Subscribe, like the video, please, for the algorithm. We are a new podcast up and coming, trying to do these weekly. And if you do subscribe, it'll let you know about 30 minutes prior to us going live on that day that, hey, we're about to go live in 30 minutes. And again, feel free to join the Discord where you're going to be able to actually give us suggestions on the next topics. And if you want to join in on the conversation live with us here, you definitely could. And yeah, so we're going to jump into Roe v. Wade overturn. What does it all mean? So I'm going to jump into this legal definition of Roe v. Wade in a second here. Firstly, Sol, do you have anything to add to that before I read this off here? I know we both have some notes and stuff like that we'll go over. So we'll take our time to try to really explain it, but I'll let you take it for a second. If not, we'll go ahead and I'll just pull up the screen to where it shows the definition. I'll read it out, what it's all about, and then we'll pretty much take it from there. So anything?
Yeah, it was called. It's just been crazy with the whole, Wade versus Roe or Jack right now. It's crazy to think that the first women's rights, the first women's rights was 180 years ago, and just like obviously certain things in the U.S. culture and the world culture, and we develop, and then out of nowhere we start regressing. And I'm definitely interested to get other people's opinions. Obviously, as a male, I don't have obviously I don't necessarily have the best say in in certain things like that, or experience in certain things.
Yeah.
I have a wife and I have a daughter who I am sickened at what this world is coming. I was talking to my wife actually a couple days ago. My daughter is, for instance, obviously a girl, and at that she is a Native American girl. So she's gonna have struggles just because of her culture in general, with people looking at her differently. Now, on top of that, you have just the U.S. in general. I mean, not just the U.S., but like right now, because obviously the Roe and Wade thing is definitely focused in the U.S., but it is definitely going to be a hard transition. I know, for instance, California has announced that the governor has announced that he is not going to follow the other states when it comes to abortions and stuff like that, which is great. And I'm not sure how. So I'm not sure if Arizona. I know that Arizona, for instance, is with the pro-life act thing.
Yeah.
So it'd be definitely interesting to see, what happens, in the next couple months, couple years with this whole thing. So.
Yeah. No, exactly. And we're definitely going to be diving into that. Some stats about all that. So we're going to jump right into it. I'm going to go ahead and share this screen here in a second. Again, this is going to be from the Merriam-Webster, the legal definition of Roe v. Wade. So let me go ahead and add this to the stream, but let me add Sol first. Okay. Bam. I don't know if you guys can see that. Hopefully you can. And I have a monitor 9 years away from me, so I'm going to try to read it. It's very small, but here we go. The legal definition of Roe v. Wade. We have here in 1973, it established a woman's right to have an abortion without undue restrictive interference from the government. The court held that a woman's right to decide for herself to bring or not bring a pregnancy to term is guaranteed under the 14th Amendment. A Texas law prohibiting abortions has been challenged by an unmarried pregnant woman, Roe, and the court ruled in her favor, finding that the state had violated her right to privacy. In attempting to balance the state's rights against the rights of the individual, Justice Harry A. Blackmun held that the state's legitimate interest in protecting potential life increased as the pregnancy advanced, while allowing that the state may forbid abortions during the third trimester. Blackmun wrote that a woman is entitled to obtain an abortion freely after consultation with a doctor in the first trimester and in an authorized clinic in the second trimester. So, there you go. Ding. So there it is. That is the legal definition. So if you guys didn't know what Roe v. Wade was, it was spelled out right there, literally in black and white. So you guys kind of have an idea of what it's about, how it came about, and kind of what the government had thought it should be back then. And we're going to get into another video shortly, like right after this. It was from one of the news stations. I'll play a short, like 1 minute clip from it, and then you can hear kind of a brief explanation as to why it was overturned or the reason it could be. So, what are your thoughts on that, Soul? You got that? I'm pretty sure you had something similar on your end when we were doing our research here.
Yeah, no, it's called. I mean, I definitely have the statistics and all that stuff up here on my page. It's called, but I think one of the biggest things with the Roe versus Wade is the fact that, you know, a lot of people don't understand that let's say, for example, let's say a woman is raped. A lot of women who are raped don't know that they're pregnant, especially at a young age, especially if they're in a younger age category, don't know they're pregnant until usually the second trimester. Because, for people, the women, men who don't really know this, you really don't start showing until, the second trimester, sometimes third trimester. So it is interesting to see how many people are, and I get both sides. I really do. I do understand the point where, people are going like, oh, well, it is a baby now. It is, if you're having an abortion at your second trimester, third trimester, that's a baby. However, there obviously has to be certain circumstances where, there has to be some kind of contingency plan to work for where it's safe for not just the mother, but that, because now it becomes a situation where I read an article where a lot of women who end up having abortion third trimester is because of health reasons.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
now it becomes, for instance, right? So what if a woman has a hole in her heart who found out she's pregnant second trimester and needs to have an abortion because it's basically it's I have this baby, or my life, my health is at risk.
Yeah, that's definitely one of the stats, and I actually have a graph which I'll be showing later on the different types of abortions and why those abortions occurred in a certain state. But yeah, and hopefully with these states being in charge now, when it does come to situations like that, which I think hopefully it's not set in stone or even talked about. I don't think they'll have those exceptions. I'm saying if it's a state that, hey, you cannot have an abortion unless XYZ. So
Exactly.
that might be something we don't know. We can only speculate on that until it comes forward with the actual stats and stuff like that. But yeah, so there's going to be a lot of as I would say exceptions to the rule, and obviously you always have to go off the majority. So there's going to be the portion are going to have the stats for like incest, rape, heart conditions, or just general medical conditions that a mother would have and not be able to have the child. So I actually have a graph that you can actually find online. You can Google it, but I'm going to bring it up shortly so you guys can definitely see that. And then anything else you wanted to add, Soul, before we jump into this 1 minute clip from CBS morning show of this one lady just pretty much talking about the ruling on the Supreme Court, what they thought or think it means, and what's going to happen moving forward. So anything else you want to add to that?
No, let's go ahead and show the video. That way we can talk more about what's going on, and then maybe it'll go with whatever I have next to say.
Yeah, perfect. Okay. So fair use. I don't want to be taken down for using a little 1 minute clip here. It's from again CBS morning news, and hopefully you can hear the audio. I had to stop the share and reshare it again with audio. This is why you saw it pop up the last time and I took it off. So you guys know the definition Okay, you guys saw the definition of Roe v. Wade, how it came about. And now we're going to jump right into the most recent news video here from CBS Morning News as to what's going on and why. So here we go. Okay, maybe. Oh, hold on. Oh, I think I know why. Hold on 1 second. I know why. Okay, cool. Oh, I think I know why. Hold on 1 second. I had to mute. For some reason, I can't mute our YouTube page that I have up prior to us going live. So when it goes live, it starts to echo right away. And as I'm trying to do my intro before we get into the actual intro video, I hear myself overlapping and it's annoying. But it's okay. We're good. Okay, so here we go. I'm going to play the video.
I mean, this to an abortion, absolutely. I mean, the opinion really couldn't be more clear. I mean, this court believes, like a fair number of legal scholars, that Roe versus Wade was basically just made up. It was wrong from the beginning. There's nothing in the Constitution about a right to abortion. And coming in 1973, when a lot of states were starting to liberalize their laws and allow abortion, the court jumped in, short-circuited the political process, and said abortion was legal nationwide. The court says that just inflamed the debate. It's time to return the issue on a right to abortion back to the people's elected representatives in the individual states. What does that mean? I mean, that means that if you want to ban abortion in Mississippi or all those other states that Christina just mentioned that already are, that's fine. There is no constitutional right women have. So the court there's no role for the Supreme Court to rule on it. There are other issues that the court could take up that are related to abortion access. And I think you are going to see some of those legal challenges play out, like whether states can ban access to abortion pills or whether states can prosecute people for going across state lines to get an abortion. I think you could see some of those in the court, but not on whether or not states can ban or greatly restrict it. That's done.
Okay. So now I could definitely play that back again if we have to go dive into what she just said, which I might actually play it one more time just so we can get the context of it and really dive into it. And before that, Hansi Rivera says, if you are graped, there are morning after pills and grape kits. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. We'll definitely get into that for sure. Shit, I hope I have to work. I want to stick around a little bit. Oh, you have to. Okay. Yeah, get back to work. But thanks for having the stream open here. Okay, so I am definitely going to play it one more time. And as I'm playing it, I'll kind of I'll try to like stop it in between. Maybe if there's some points that we'll get into here, or we can pretty much comment on. But here we go. So we're going to play it one more time, guys, just so you can understand what's going on real quick.
Couldn't be more clear. I mean, this court believes, like a fair number of legal scholars, that Roe versus Wade was basically just made up. It was wrong from the beginning. There's nothing in the Constitution about a right to abortion. And coming in 1973, when a lot of states were starting to liberalize their laws and allow abortion, the court jumped in, short-circuited the...
So you heard what she said. It's not a right. It's pretty much a privilege, if you want to put it that way. So there a lot of people are trying to mention that, a lot of podcasts and articles I've seen while doing research, because a lot of people or women will go around, they think it's a right to have it, and it's technically not a right, it's a privilege. So let me play a little bit more here.
Political process and said abortion was legal nationwide. The court says that just inflamed the debate. It's time to return the issue on a right to abortion back to the people's elected representatives in the individual states.
So yeah, what do you think about that? And I kind of think it makes sense. I know they're going from it being general across the nation, but now they're pretty much just leaving it up to the states. And so what that means is, you can technically now you would have to pretty much, if it's really bothering you, if this is a situation that's bothering you, you want it to be, addressed, it comes to the polls, right? You would vote for your representatives in your state to go, the people that you align with certain things such as this. So they're leaving it to the states. I think one of the stats I read was about 50%, which is half of the United States, allows you to have abortions. So you're still, as you know, we'll get into it. If you really need to have one, you can technically drive, to the nearest state that would allow it and do it. But the Supreme Court pretty much just said, we're just going to leave it to the states, and this is pretty much it. So you states, you deal with this. You put the rules in place, what you guys want to do, but we're not going to pretty much, have that standard across the nation of no, you can't. You guys just pretty much deal with it. What do you think about that?
I mean, it is definitely a lot better than them just purely getting rid of
Yeah, like across
abortions
the
in
board.
general.
Yep.
I think it's still in a situation where I don't agree with it in general. I don't think that a state or the government should be able to tell you what you can do and can't do with your body. For instance, you don't need to go to a different state to get a new tattoo. You don't have to go to a new state to get a new piercing or that kind of stuff. And I understand to a certain extent that yes, getting a tattoo, getting a piercing is obviously a bigger deal than having an abortion and giving up a baby that's developing in your uterus. I get that. However, to me is at what point do you have a say, or does women do they have a say in what they want from their life? For instance, right? Hansi brought up, a morning after pill and rape kids. That's great. But what happens if you're an 11-year-old girl who gets raped by your uncle, let's say, for example, who's embarrassed or scared to tell their parents? So now, one, she waits a bit. So now, obviously, the morning after pill is no longer effective. Two, it becomes a situation where one, it's going to create a situation where people are going to feel like they're not being, treated properly, which is clearly the case with obviously all these activisms happening, feminism protests happening with, women's rights on the whole abortion policy. I get it, but I don't think it's appropriate for, like I said, for a state or government to be able to tell you what you want in life or what you can do in life in the situation of, I don't want that. Obviously there's adoption, there's like that kind of stuff, right? But, for instance, right? Okay, for example, like I said before, if you have a health problem, let's say you have diabetes or you have a heart problem or you like this, if you need to get, basically, if it's a point where like you can't have a baby at all, like you physically can't, and you don't want it, like to me again, there's a big difference. There's a big difference between, let's say you're 2.5 months pregnant, or 6.5 months pregnant, and you're like, hey, my boyfriend broke up. I hate him. I don't want this baby anymore. Give me abortion. Yes, then to me is that shouldn't qualify as a reason to have an abortion.
And they actually, that'll be under like elective abortion. So being that you're kind of describing that, and again, we're pretty much talking about kind of exceptions to the rule, and I'm going to show you what I mean by that. I'm going to bring this up here. If you guys can see this, I hope you can. So this is a stat, right, of abortions specifically right now. This is a specific stat for the state of Florida. It's just a one of the states, not all states. There's probably just a handful of them, to be honest. I actually have to look it up, but this is one that actually requires women to report why they want to have an abortion. Okay, anonymously. They're just taking numbers and they put the reasons why to the left, as you can see. Again, not all states do this, so you can't use these numbers for every single state, but for the states that do require a reason, the numbers are going to be fairly similar. Florida is especially a huge state, if you think about it. So they've done a lot of questioning for women that wanted to have abortions. So you see at the very top there, it says elective abortion. 59,000, pretty much elective. That means that was just their choice to just go do it just because. If we're going to just jump right into the exceptions, right, which would be incest, which you can see there, was a total of 8. That was literally just 8 out of, that 70, I can't even read from here, 79,000 or whatever it is. And then right under that would be grape. I'm not going to say the actual word, which is 118. As you can see, it happens. But it's obviously a small fraction of the overall, as you can see on the ones preceding that. So elective abortions, pretty much 60,000. You have abortions due to social or economic reasons. That's a lot. 17,000. Those two alone are the rule, if that makes sense. So this is what the majority of people are actually having abortions. This is what they're going out and doing. Then you jumped into what you were talking about, Soul, when it comes to health. So I think performed due to emotional, psychological health of the mother. That's one. 1505 was reported. And then you have the actual physical health of the mother. So due to physical health of mother, this is okay, not life endangering. There's just I guess overall physical health. 1069. And then you have due to life endangering physical condition 119. So that number is still low as well, compared to the other ones. Obviously it happens. Nobody's arguing that at all, any of these stats. And then of course you have, your serious fetal genetic defect, deformities, or abnormally, and can't even read that from here, abnormality, however you pronounce that. 757. So that one was pretty high compared to the other ones, which people tend to argue with to try to, I guess, kind of just say their point. So you can see the numbers here. Again, this is just going off of Florida. This is not the whole entire United States, because the whole United States, the states that are in here not all of them allow you a reason. Like Florida, you have to have a reason when you go get an abortion. You go and you walk in, hey, I want to get an abortion. Why? Oh, just because. Or I had a one-night stand, something like that, and I got pregnant. I don't want the kid. Then they'll put that under elective abortion, and as you can see, there's 60,000 of that, bro. So that's overwhelming, and you can just kind of assume that the majority of the states that do require a reason will kind of fall in line with the state of Florida as far as the numbers go. So with that being said, so after looking at this chart, what are your thoughts on it, man? And I'll kind of leave it up on the screen, so you can you can reference it. But this pretty much gives you an idea overall of abortions in the West, and how it can be, similar in other states as well. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, I actually have a similar chart, but mine is actually in the U.S., not just Florida.
Yeah.
It was called. So yeah, I mean, it is definitely crazy to think exactly how many abortions are in every state.
Isn't that crazy, dude? Like 70 something
So-
thousand right here.
So the chart I have, so in 2020, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in 2021 in Florida, yeah, 79,000. But in 2020 in the U.S. alone, we had 930,160 abortions that year.
Yeah, and just to tack onto that real quick before you continue, that 900 whatever, and that stat that you got for the overall United States, remember, that's only the states that require the reason from the mother as to why they're getting abortion. So that number is not including those X amount of states that aren't reporting a reason or the stats. They just do it. So yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so, and again, it was called me saying this number. It's not me being like, it's more of, I want to make sure that people understand why it's happening. Again, I'm not for abortion at all. What's it called? I think people should have I'm for whatever, I'm pro life or pro choice. So in the sense of I do choose to believe that women should have a right to have an abortion if they need one. So I'm actually that's the hard part.
That's what I'm trying to say. It's like, are you against it? So that means you'd be pro-life. You wouldn't be pro-choice.
See, that's the hard part. Is I see both sides. Like, one, my religion causes me to think of pro-life, and being a parent in general. I think like that. But also me having a daughter and having a wife, I'm pro-choice because I wouldn't want my daughter to have a baby that if she didn't want to have a baby.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'm stuck in a middle ground where honestly, like, for me is because I don't want to think of a baby, not making, not living and that kind of stuff. But I don't necessarily agree with the elective abortion amount being what it is. I think it's highly different between, hey, you know what? I can't afford to have a baby. I can't afford to, pay a hospital bill to have a baby. I get that.
Yeah.
And that's what it's called. And obviously there's the incest, grape, and all that stuff that has a problem with it. Sometimes people don't realize though, like when it comes to abortion, though, is sometimes it's better to just have an abortion than to have a baby be brought up into this world that is too dangerous or isn't a good environment for the baby. Because let's say for example, right? Let's say you go into the statistics of let's say a 12-year-old has a baby, right?
Yeah.
Well, now that 12-year-old is going to have a baby. Let's say even if the grandma ends up raising the baby or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
Now it becomes a situation where that because that 12-year-old is going to have to be reminded every single day of a bad decision or grape or whatever situation got her into that mess in the first place. It could also be the sense of, hey, you know what? I made a mistake because I'm pregnant. I couldn't do abortion or Plan B without my parents knowing at 12 years old or 10 years old or 13 years old or whatever age you are. Now my parents are mad at me. They kicked me out of the house. Well, now I'm stuck with a baby and I'm homeless, or I gave the baby up for adoption, but I'm still homeless because my parents kicked me out. My parents hate me. My parents, because obviously you have culture involved, you have religion involved who don't believe in, not non-marriage, sexual intercourse and stuff like that. So I think there's definitely has to be a reason. I mean, again, as a dad, I don't want to see any baby not being born because I think every baby's a blessing in disguise, even if it's the wrong time in your life. But I can also see the point where, it can be devastating for the young girl or older girl. I mean, if you're, 40, 45 years old and you're having a baby, that could be scary. That could be the thing where things like, well, and it could be, life threatening, or it could be, just not in a good environment in the first place.
Yeah, you'd be definitely high risk being in the 40s, having a kid as a woman. So you definitely have to be careful.
So I definitely mean this. So again, it is hard for, I think, anyone. I mean, obviously, I think as much as I want to go like, oh, I'm pro-choice, the more you think about it, the more you talk about it, it's like, what am I? It's called, because at the end of the day, it's like, I think it all depends on the situation. I don't think anyone can be purely pro-choice. I don't think anyone can be purely pro-life.
Yeah, and I mean, going off of the numbers here, overwhelmingly, this is an elective abortion. This is an elective choice. So again, going back to it, we can sit here and argue the very small percentage of why it might be bad for, like you said, a younger girl, something happened, incest, grape. But looking at the statistics here, man, the majority are all elective. So these are just, women, having, or getting pregnant probably by a guy that they don't necessarily want to be with, and they just want to go ahead and abort it. There's another stat out there. Unfortunately, I don't have it, but you can definitely Google it. And they're saying that the majority of the women, I believe, that are actually having the abortions are women that make about $47,000 a year or more. So that means that women who are typically making decent money or more are pretty much putting their careers ahead, and they're not ready to to have those kids yet. So they're the ones going out. There's a bar graph actually. And I forget what website it was, and I wish I would have took a screenshot of it. But the bar, it's by percentage, and it was the last bar all the way to the right at the very top. women who make about 47,000 or more are the ones who are typically doing elective abortions because of their careers. So they've had the choice of what to do, and overwhelmingly they're choosing to have an elective abortion. Did you have anything else to add there? Because I do have. Let me go back here just to see how. I think I just like one more video. Let me bring this up here. Okay, it's two more videos. I got one, which we'll talk about. This guy named Rollo Tomasi. He's been, doing, a bunch of content for the past 20 years on sexual dynamics and, women and men. So he has like a little short spiel he's going to go on that we can play in a second here, and I'll get your thoughts on that. And then there was another TikTok video as well. And it kind of is going to be addressing the men in this situation and how now it's equal playing fields between women and men when it comes to the government enforcing things. So we're going to jump into that and get your thoughts on that. Again, guys, we're just providing the content. You guys can comment, let us know your thoughts. As you saw, we provided the definition of Roe v. Wade. We played a video on the news of what the Supreme Court, thought or want to do moving forward, pushing it to the states. And then we had the stats to show you, at least in the state of Florida, how overwhelmingly the abortions that were done here were elective abortions, which is crazy. So that just pretty much shows you that technically women have had the choice to do, what they want when it comes to that. And they're being pretty much put on the same playing field as men moving forward. And we can get into that discussion as well, and how we have to, both male and female, have to maneuver now in the sexual marketplace a little bit different and more cautious. You can't just be going in blind and then, oh yeah, well, just go have an abortion, we'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? Now you have to be careful. This is why, women can't go out now unless you're going to travel to another state to just have these abortions, just because. Now you got to be very selective on who you want to have a child with. So I think that's probably a good thing, to be honest, moving forward. To be very careful now moving forward, so you're not really just going out there doing your thing. But I'll let you comment on that, and then we'll jump into this other video here.
It's called. Yeah, so definitely I want to touch upon the little thing that you mentioned about, the businesswoman's age and that stuff, which I think is funny because of the Guttmacher Institute. They announced that, so basically ages from 20 to 24, about 27.7%. And then you have 25 to 29% year olds is 29.2. Those are the highest percentage of people who are basically, it's called, sorry, the message got distracted. Basically, those are the highest amount of people getting abortions. It's actually funny, is below 15 years old, you actually have 0.2% of women, girls getting abortions. So it's definitely interesting away from, seeing that, yes, obviously you still have, people at younger age having abortions and stuff like that. Again, reported, because, I would assume most younger ladies and parents don't want their kids reporting abortions and stuff like that, because it's almost it's that stereotype. Don't talk about it. It never happened. Let's just have an abortion and sweep it under the rug.
Yeah, exactly. Stuff, so. Yep. Real quick, Lee Likens. That's one of you, soul. Congrats, guys. Proud of you, young men, not shying away from controversial topics. Yeah, man. Hey, we got to go with the flow here, and I try to address everything we can, in a non-biased way, and put some, facts out there, some information that would help other people kind of make their own decisions, on what's going on. So appreciate that comment. Go ahead, Soul.
No, I think we're ready for the video.
Okay, cool. So this is going to be going to the Fresh and Fit podcast. Just a short clip. They have Rollo Tomasi on there. Let me try to make this bigger here. I got to figure out when to pause it. but he's pretty much let me see what they actually titled it here. Okay, I think they talk about like what about grape and incest moving forward. So yeah, we'll play a short clip of this and then we'll pause it, and then of course we'll get the I'll get your comments on this for sure. So let me go back here. Bam. Okay, here we go. Again, this is Rolo Tomasi. He does have a YouTube channel. He's been doing this for about 20 years about, intersexual dynamics between men and women, commenting on both men and women and how we pretty much operate in today's marketplace and stuff like that. So definitely going to get your guys' comments on this. Here we go.
The stats, okay? But how do we interpret the stats here? Okay. So we don't want to get too political. We don't want to get too moralistic or anything like that. But we still have this pile of forensic data that's sitting in front of us. So how do we connect the dots that go along with this? Okay. Mm-hmm. The only conclusion that I can come to as being the rational male and talking about what I've been talking about for 20 years now is that there's one function to abortion. It is a fail-safe for bad reproductive choices. Exactly. That's what it is. Here it is, black and white. I don't make the rules. I don't make the stats, ladies. You do. So what does this say? What does this say about the function, the latent purpose of abortion? It's not about, a woman's right to choose and blah, blah, blah. And you don't have a uterus, so you don't get a seat at the table, gentlemen. So it's men trying to control women's bodies. No, you've been controlling your bodies, and here's the stats to show what you're doing with your bodies. Yeah. So the only conclusions that I can come to is that the purpose, the function of abortion, it is the ultimate statement. It's the last statement in hypergamy, and it is a fail-safe for bad reproductive choices. You want choices? I want to protect women's right to choose. Okay, what are you choosing? Well, we see what you're choosing right here. Yeah. What does that say about you? What does it say about the society? What does it say where we're going forward from turning all this back to the states?
And it's very interesting.
All right. So what are your thoughts on that? No thoughts. All right.
No thoughts. No, I think it's definitely, I can agree with it to a certain extent. Again, like it's hard because I have a daughter and wife.
Hey, same here, bro. Yep, I know.
But I can definitely agree with it. I mean, yes, I do agree in the sense of abortion can be seen and should be seen as a fail-safe. Like, oh my God,
stats show it. Yep,
I had sex. Oh my God, it's almost the same thing where, like, for instance, my wife likes to joke with me and go, you did this to me. It's like, no, I mean, I helped.
Hey, it takes two to tango. Women control who have sex. Remember, guys, women control who have sex. So they're in total control. Yeah. They do what they want. It's like you said, it's their bodies. Go ahead.
It's not my fault you decided you wanted to have sex on this day because I didn't have a choice. I try every night. It's not my fault. But no, what's it called? I mean, I think it's definitely a point where, things can't just be. Things are not gray. Things can't be seen as, well, I need an abortion for this reason. Well, yeah, I agree to a certain extent. You need to have an abortion if it's a health reason. Absolutely, I agree. If it's like, hey, you know what, it's gonna hurt me. If it's gonna hurt you physically or mentally, I don't think you should have a baby. Of course not.
Yeah.
It's called. But I think there's definitely options that you can do rather than giving an abortion. I think you can do adoptions. I think you can do, find out plans, because who knows, what happens if you end up, let's say you're 2 months pregnant and you have an abortion, and after a month later you're like, dang it, I wish I would have kept that baby.
Yeah, and dude, that happens a lot, bro. Like you hear a lot of stories like that. Had an abortion, and you're just like, damn, man, I could have had a kid right now. I wish I never done it. There's always that regret later on when, let's say, the couple or the mom, or the female is in a better situation in life. That's when they'll kind of reflect back to their decision that they made, and it's like, damn, if I didn't get this abortion, and if I would have just held through, who knows what could have happened? I could have probably been where I am at today, or maybe not. So it is a chance, but yeah, like you said, I mean, they could think back, man.
Exactly. And I definitely want to, I mean, again, it's called, when he was just saying, it's like, women want to go, pro-choice. Well, you had a choice. Your choice was you want to interact. Again, I think in the I mean, but see, where do you go from here, right? So, for instance, right, let's say, for example, if a state or government decides, hey, you can only have an abortion if you had if you were raped
Mm-hmm.
or incest. Well, now what's stopping a 28-year-old woman who just made a bad decision, got drunk one night, met a guy at a club, got pregnant. Well, now she wants an abortion. Well, now she goes, well, and they say she goes to clinic or hospital and goes, hey, I need to get an abortion. I got pregnant pregnant, and I can't have this baby.
Mm-hmm.
And now they go like, well, were you raped? She's like, no. Well, then they're like, oh, well, you can't have this baby. Well, now she goes to a different clinic or a different hospital and goes, were you raped? Yes.
Yeah. So, and to add to that, yeah, you can lie, but I think like with forensic data or whatever, there are rape kits and stuff out there. So I think with this overturn, they might get a little more strict on that, because this like what you just said, it's probably going to become more common now. Oh yeah, I was raped, I can't have this kid. Now they're going to put rules in place or ways to find out if you actually were, to prove before you go, or they allow that abortion to happen in that state. So I think that's what's going to follow up. But yeah, I think from hindsight, anybody can actually see that happening. Okay, well now we can't, have abortions unless it was, unless we were raped, or the person was raped. So now that's just something, that was probably common sense to think of what was gonna, or what could, or what is gonna happen. So I think they're gonna put steps in place to kind of to challenge that, or to do testing to make sure and to verify that that woman was actually raped, to then go through with the procedure and whatnot. Go ahead. Oh wait, we got another comment here. Did you guys know that under the new laws, Blue Up, it was so small for me to read. Laws, a woman who was raped will do more time in prison than the guy who raped him. So remember that. Did you guys know that under the new laws, a woman who was raped will do more time in prison than the guy who raped them? So that's kind of confusing to me, but I'm kind of assuming that a woman that says she was raped by somebody and gets that man in trouble, but never was raped, would do more time than the guy. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that's what you mean. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree, because I was just like, why would a woman do time if she was raped?
Yeah, so I think that's what's going on. If you falsely accuse somebody of rape, and it's found out, I agree.
Well,
you could screw somebody's life up with that false accusation.
Well, yeah, exactly. You're accusing someone of a certain certain thing that could jeopardize his life.
Yeah.
So I definitely.
Go back to that Johnny Depp thing. My bad to cut you off. Going back to the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. You know what I'm saying? She should go to jail. Okay, because that's crazy. That's bullshit. But go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you. Go ahead.
Was it called? No, it was called. He replied back saying, "Sorry, if she has the abortion." So so you're saying that if she has an abortion after being raped, she could do more time?
Probably, if you were to do in an illegal abortion in a state where it's now, I guess, going to be illegal to have an abortion. If you're found to go to the black market or some shit to get it done, and they find out, you're going to do time. Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And I'm sure the laws obviously are different from each state. It's not across the board.
But see, at what point now, right, with the new laws, at what point, let's say it is legal in Arizona to have a baby, right, or have an abortion. Well, at what point do you go, okay, well, I'm going to go to California and have an abortion? And then, but I live in Arizona. Now it becomes a point where, like, at what point do they go, hey, you know what? An abortion is technically murder. It's called, you're technically murdering a unborn child of yours.
Yeah.
Even though, because now it has a heart, it has a brain. What's it called? And that's the thing where it's like, I saw a TikTok video of some lady going like, something like, oh, something about a heart and brain, But the thing is, like, because the baby, because at what point do you go like, well, that baby doesn't have rights? Why doesn't it have rights? It has a life technically, doesn't it?
Yeah, and think about it. If somebody were to, unfortunately, kill a pregnant woman, that's a double homicide. You just killed two people, okay? So you got to think about that. If they're gonna charge somebody with like a double murder, because a woman was pregnant, what does it mean if you're a woman and you go get an abortion? So now you should be charged with premeditated murder and you go to jail. So it gets crazy if you want to, go along that slippery slope. So it's true. It's true. It's going to be very interesting to see moving forward how this is going to play out and what women are going to be doing to try to get these abortions when they live in a state that, doesn't allow abortions. A lot of women don't have money to be going traveling out to another state. You know what I'm saying? So, I think that's that's crazy. That's a good question. At what point will it be it could be called premeditated murder? Then you got to get the doctor involved, the person that did it, because it's like hiring a hitman. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying? You got to call, you got to schedule, the hit, and then you go get it done. So that's arguable, but yeah, like with the whole heartbeat thing, the main question is, when is it okay if you agree with abortion to get an abortion? I have a thing up here. It says, before about week 8 of pregnancy, a doctor may refer to the fetus as an embryo. The heart of an embryo starts to beat from around 5 to 6 weeks of pregnancy. Also, it may be possible to see the first visible signs of embryo, known as the fetal pole, at this stage. So around 5 to 6 weeks is when you can pretty much start to notice, a heartbeat. So it's actually fairly early. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, what do you think?
No, like I said, I mean, with my wife being pregnant, I'm showing the kids pictures of what the baby looks like every week because we're like, oh, like 8 weeks. For example, what was it, Saturday? I was like, hey, mommy is 8 weeks now. This is what the baby looks like, and the kids are like, "Ew, that's so gross." But
yeah,
but I think it's interesting. It goes back down to it is at what point does it become acceptable to? Because most women, I mean, one, if you're getting a pregnancy test done to see if you're pregnant, odds are you're 6 weeks pregnant.
Yeah, yep, and I think that's around the time you kind of find out too if you are or not.
What's it called? So I think for the most, so because again, it's called it could it takes like what 7 days after your missed period or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So and think what people realize is a lot of women can actually have one last period, in their pregnancy.
Yeah.
So now it becomes
definitely find out late. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So now it becomes again also for instance there's statistics, right? I'm gonna read something real quick for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
So from a report from the national rape related pregnancy rate is 5% per rape among victims of reproductive ages from 12 to 45. Among adult women, an estimated 32,101 pregnancies result from grape each year. Among 34 cases of grape-related pregnancy, the majority occurred among the adolescents and resulted from assault by an unknown. Often related perpetrator, only 11.7% of the victims received immediate medical attention after assault, and 47.1% received no medical attention related to the grape. A total 32.4% of these victims did not discover they were pregnant until they had already entered the second trimester. So a second trimester begins at 8 weeks or 9 weeks. So a total of 32.4% of these victims did not discover they were pregnant until they had 32.2% opted to keep the infant, whereas whereas 50% underwent abortion, and 5.9% placed the infant for adoption. An additional 11.8% had spontaneous abortion.
Yeah, so those are pretty much the women that found out a little bit later that they were pregnant, and this is what they did. So would it be fair to say that if you knew something happened to you, you were in the act consensually, you got graped, whatever you want to say, would it be fair to say that it's possible that you could be pregnant even after taking a pregnancy test and you're not? I mean, it's very possible. You could probably get checked out, go to a doctor, take some precautions, plan B, and do all that, so it doesn't lead up to that point where it's like, oh, hey, it's a surprise. I'm 2 months now. Holy crap! How did that happen? would it be fair to say that you could kind of prevent that from happening by taking precautions right after the incident happens, or
Well,
whether it's
so
consensually or not? Go ahead.
but speaking of that though, so let's say for instance, they say a 19-year-old lady is in college, whatever, got raped by some guy in a party, whatever,
Mhm.
and afterwards, she's like she being scared, she took a morning after pill.
Okay.
Okay, well now in our mind, the morning after pill is a thing like, okay, I took a morning after pill, I'm no longer pregnant, I'm not pregnant, I'm fine,
Mhm.
right? But technically, sorry, a morning after pill is only effective 75 to 89% of the time.
Okay, so the majority of the time.
Majority, but
Mhm.
just like condoms, it could happen.
Mhm.
Just because you took
Yeah.
a pill doesn't mean you're pregnant, or
Yeah.
doesn't mean you're not pregnant.
No, yeah, you're exactly right. To jump into the analogy real quick, let's say we go on a plane, right?
Mhm.
And I give you a parachute, and I says it has a 90% chance of not deploying. Would you jump out of the plane?
Why would I jump out of a plane in the first place?
Just go with the
No.
flow. Yeah. But there's a
Uh,
10% chance that it might deploy.
Well, I mean, I could give you a better option, right? A better thing on this topic. Was it called? Condoms are only 99.9% of the time effective. Would you still have sex?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Because it's like that 0.1. But
Exactly.
on the reverse, though, but it's not like, you have a 90% chance of it not deploying versus 90% chance of it deploying. And then you have that 10% not.
Well, think about it, is you have 90, or even birth control pills. You
Mhm.
have a high percentage chance of you not getting pregnant, but it's still plausible. You can still get pregnant.
Yeah, you could. But at least the
So
majority, it does work. Either way, you should still take those precautions
Mhm.
versus not taking it because
So-
there's still a chance of it happening.
So how about this? How about rather than telling women you can't have sex, you can't have an abortion? How about as a state, as a government, we figure out a better way for women not to get pregnant by choice?
Mhm.
Whether it be a better condom, better birth control, something.
How about a birth control for a guy? We'll never have kids. That's what will happen. You come out with some shit where guys just like temporarily that's been tested and approved that we just shoot blanks whenever we want to smash. We will never have kids, bro. Unless, well, not never, but you know what I mean. The majority of the time, we will not opt into have kids unless we're like at that point, we're ready. You get off the pill, and then you guys can consensually have sex and have a kid together. That would be the stop to all this bullshit right there. Unfortunately, we don't have that. And the only thing we do have is the condom. That's it.
Yeah.
And we know a lot of the time guys don't use it. But at the end of the day, the women control who has sex and who they allow into their body. So they are definitely in control there. Real quick here. Okay, we read that. Hi guys, Monty, what's up? Welcome to the podcast. Good to see you here. We're talking about a controversial topic right now. Kind of just giving our thoughts on what's going on. And appreciate you joining in. And you said here, this was weird timing for me to come in. Should have read the topic first. LOL. Yes. Yeah, we're kind of having a conversation about it, the whole thing that's going on. We showed some stats that you'll be able to watch back. We played some videos. We have one more video that we're also going to play. And just pretty much going over, overall this topic and what it means. We went over like the definition, how Roe v. Wade came about. Yeah, so me and Saul just, having a conversation right now before we jump into this next video. I'm going to let him finish up with what he's saying before we jump into the next video, which I think it's a good point this gentleman has here on TikTok. So go ahead, Saul, finish up.
I just think it's interesting on the sense of, I'm not going to go back to, just the U.S. in general. I mean, it happens all over the world. India, you have Al-Qaeda, and the people have, obviously Muslims and stuff like that. You can go in more into detail of women's not being treated properly and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But my biggest question and curiosity is, one, when is I mean, because obviously you have the whole feminism with that. Is just for instance, you can the whole Wade thing, the whole Roe versus Wade. You have the Senate, basically demolish it to a certain extent, and obviously, so when that happened, you had every every woman in us
Mhm.
talk about how it's not fair or how it is fair and that kind of stuff. But when does it become a point where there's no more of like you know oh it's the men doing this to it, the men are controlling us, or when does it become when do we stop dividing ourselves into a certain category in the sense like oh, it's not fair because I'm this color,
Mhm.
or I'm this I'm this gender, I'm this
Yeah,
religion. At what point do we just
I know that's the main question, man.
like
And I don't think that's ever going to go away. There's always going to be something like that. So because I believe there's always going to be something like that, and it's not going to go away, we have to put things in place.
mm,
Everybody's trying to cater to everybody, and
yeah.
so
Well, I
it
mean,
gets pretty crazy.
on that exact wording you just put, everyone's trying to cater for everyone. Prime example, let's say let's say Marvel in general. Marvel right now is in the whole they're turning certain characters who were a certain way. For say for example, you have this it's called you have it's called you have Tony Stark, who's like that. Now, obviously, he died, so now you're trying to bring a girl out. You have Hulk. Now, you obviously, basically, you're going more towards like a feminine
Disney,
picture.
Disney, for example, with the whole Buzz Lightyear thing, banned in a
Yeah,
couple countries because I forget what it was, a same-sex kiss or something like that. I think it was something. I could be wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong,
I
but
know there's something like that. Yeah,
yeah. So you have these big corporations now changing up their ways, to cater to that small percentage of people, and you can
yeah.
see it's been an issue. You know what I'm saying? So they're catering to the exception to the rule.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, rather than, I can give examples. For instance, like obviously, making Nick Fury black rather than having him be a white guy in the like he was in the comics and stuff like
Yeah.
that. And the thing is, at what point do you stop catering to certain things? And again, I'm not trying to sound like that. Me personally, I'd rather you bring out a brand new superhero than to change a certain character to fit, a
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
subject that you're trying to like that.
Yeah.
It's again, I'm trying to choose my words correctly because it is obviously it can be a very touchy subject.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, but it's just one of those things. It's just when does it become a point where we're all equal? I mean, and that's the thing. That's the thing is like, I don't think it's going to happen anytime soon. Like you said, what's it called? There's always going to be someone who's going to challenge you know, our race, our gender, our religion, and it's
Yep.
always going to be obviously the opposite, person of us. So obviously, a girl versus a guy, religion versus religion, race versus race. You're never going to have, equality, unfortunately.
Yeah. 100%, man. 100%. So unfortunately, that's not going to change. So we just got to adapt with what we have and just make it make sense. But okay, so we have one more video to go over, and I'm just gonna jump right into it, and we'll get your thoughts and everybody else in the comments. Let us know your thoughts on today's episode, on your thoughts on this topic in general. Please hit that like button and subscribe. It'll help the channel grow. Also, hit that little bell button there if you want to be notified on the next time we go live, about 30 minutes prior to us going live and when we go live that day. So I'm going to go ahead and play this video, and we're definitely going to see your thoughts on it. And before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and read this comment from Money Bunny. So awesome of you guys to talk about such strong topic. It's important to talk about no matter what your thoughts are. Yes, just putting the thoughts out there, mainly trying to show obviously more of the stats, more of the facts of any topic, moving forward with any subject that we talk about or topic. Obviously everybody can have their own opinion, but at the end of the day, you have to go off of reality and the facts that are presented, which is why when we started this podcast today, we went straight to the dictionary and got the complete definition of Roe v. Wade, what it was about, how it came about, what year it was in. And then we dove right into the next video, which was from a news outlet on the decision of the Supreme Court for overturning it, why they overturned it, for what reason. And then we saw some stats on the abortion rates, specifically in Florida, because there's only a handful of states, I believe, that actually provide those stats as to a reason why an abortion occurs. So in the state of Florida, it's I guess it's mandatory for you to provide a reason to having an abortion in order to get an abortion. So we actually had stats on that, and overwhelmingly by like 50 something thousand abortions, it was an elective decision from the mother. What do we got here? The sacrament infanticide is all about malak. Is that how you pronounce that?
Yeah, Malak is a deity. Basically, it's sacrifice, like baby, like sacrificing a baby.
Got you. Welcome to the stream, man. Appreciate your comment. So yeah, we're gonna jump into the last video here. So hopefully some parts of this podcast today was kind of informative. And obviously you guys are more than welcome to do your own research. Everything we talk about, it's literally online that you can look up yourself as far as stats, the videos that we're going over, so you can see for yourself. So these are not like our opinions on what we're showing you. This is like pretty much what's out there. For you to get that actual stats, because a lot of people operate on feelings and not facts and not in reality. And a lot of people, especially a lot of women, like to go with the herd mentality of moving, with their people and stuff like that, and just going along with it. So it's good to provide stats and facts, versus, for me at least, my own personal opinion on it. Even though I could provide it, facts and shit are obviously better. But we're gonna go ahead and jump into this TikToker. I can't see his name in here, but hopefully you guys can see it there on stream. So we're going to play it, and then we're going to get your thoughts over after this.
I don't disagree with you. On the contrary, I'm
going to play it back.
I don't disagree with you. On the contrary, I agree with you 100%. It's your body, your choice. Do whatever you want with it. I don't care. If you're pregnant, you wanted to have an abortion, you wanted to kill that unborn child, I literally don't care. Do whatever you want. I'm not going to lose any fucking sleep over it, especially if I don't know you and I don't know the child. I'm not going to pretend like I care, because I don't. But this is the part I think many of you are overlooking of why this affects you and how it affects you as a woman. See, as a woman, you've always had the right that you could abort a child, even if the person who was the father of the child wanted you to keep it and you decided you didn't, you could just abort the child. Nothing he could do about that. He had no say in it. Fine, fair enough. Your body, your choice. Also, if he didn't want to be a father, but you did want to keep the child, well, again, your body, your choice. You got to make that decision. Here's where the unfairness comes in, is even though he didn't want to be a father, he's now forced to be financially responsible for a child he never wanted. If you didn't want to be responsible for a child you didn't want, financially or otherwise, you could have aborted it. We're not allowed to walk away. We are forced. We've never had the same luxury or the same right to walk away from a child we didn't want that you have. And the way this affects you is that men are not blind to this unfairness. And if nobody's going to make it right, if nobody was going to step up and fight for us to say, hey, no, this isn't right. We need to give men the same right and autonomy to walk away from a child and not be responsible for it in any way, shape, or form. If they choose to not be, even if the child is born, they don't have to be financially responsible or irresponsible in any other way. If nobody was going to do that, see, we have a vote. And we get to exercise that vote for whoever we want. And that means that if nobody's going to fix this injustice for us, this unfairness for us, then we can choose to vote for people who are in favor of overturning Roe v. Wade, which then puts the woman and the man in the same fucking boat, with the government telling you, just like they've been telling us all along, that you have to be a parent even if you don't want to be. We can vote for those people. And see, when those people get in office, and there's enough of them in office, and it comes time to select new Supreme Court justices and vote them in, well, they can select Supreme Court justices who are in favor of overturning Roe v. Wade, which now puts us both in the same fucking boat. It's not fun when the government is forcing you to do something you don't want to do. But see, now you're in the same boat as us. This is how it affects you. If you don't want us to vote for those people, how about you stand behind us and help us fight the unfairness on us too? Pretty simple.
There you go. My opinion, well said. Monty says he has a valid point. Yes. So now you're flipping it and you're adding in the men into this. 100% true, bro. Now I see it as them being on the same playing field, which now you both have to move in a certain way in this marketplace when it comes to, intersexual dynamics between male and female. You got to be very careful. And I think it's actually a good thing that now women is going to be pretty much held, accountable and responsible for making that decision. Because now if you live in one of these states that you can't have an abortion, you're really going to have to think, man, that's half of the United States. I believe 50% of the states do not allow abortions. So what now? So I think there's going to be a big change, and men and women are going to have to move, differently in the marketplace, and who women decide to have sex with. Because again, say it again, women control who has sex and who they let, in their bodies. So that's my opinion. I've honestly never thought of it that way. Yeah, it blew my mind. And, we were talking about this topic. Sol had mentioned, coming into this podcast today, about this topic. And I think the same day at night, it was pretty funny. Wait, he said,
Hey, have we officially made it if we're getting spam?
Probably. But yeah, anyways, this has come up on my timeline on TikTok, and I thought it was pretty funny. I was like, yo, let me actually save this. And a lot of people are, agreeing with him in the comments and stuff like that. But if you really think about it from his point of view, bro, for the men that don't want children, if it's a one night stand or something like that, because a lot of these women, like, let's be honest, they trap dudes, especially if they get with a high value guy, that has all this money and blah, blah, blah. One night stand. Oh my God, I got pregnant. And they'll lock them in. And then, it's done like that. But yeah, so I think moving forward, people just got to be careful. You don't want kids. Now abortion in 50% of the states is not going to be an option. So yeah, wait, what does it say here? Oh no. Can we delete those? Oh, I got it. Bam.
Cool.
All right. Perfect example of why talking about these topics is so important. Yes, and it's awesome, bro. That's why, like, platforms like this and other podcasts that touch on these subjects, you get to see both sides of the story. You really get to dive into the actual facts, man, and reality of what's going on and what it actually means. So you get one guy like this in the video breaking it down, kind of, for everybody in general. And he's like, it makes you think. You're like, holy shit, you're right. You know what I'm saying? And it could be for any topic. We grew up a certain way and think a certain way, all these years into our adulthood, and then you slowly start finding out things when you do your research, and things start to come out, thanks, to social media and the internet. What was that? I reported them. Cool, thank you. I blocked them too, so they're no longer here. And I actually removed all their comments. So yeah, so what do you think, man?
No, I mean,
his comments, man, that's tough.
No, I mean, that comment was great. It was called, I feel like Jillian got preach. Amen. No, it was called. I mean, that's definitely the facts. It's called. A lot of people think, like, again, women want to go like, well, it's my body, it's my choice. Absolutely,
you're absolutely right.
But that's my baby too. That's the men's baby too.
Yeah, my baby, my choice.
Yeah,
came out of my body first.
Yeah, my wife goes like, oh, I'm carrying your baby. I'm like, I carried him too.
I know.
I carried her too. It didn't hurt me as much, but
we just had different feeling effects. Mine just happened to feel a little bit better than yours.
Exactly. But it's called.
Yeah.
The thing is that's why it's like to a point is right. That's abortion, right? Do they start having to where if you want an abortion, you have to have the mother and father's consent?
I know, right?
Because then what happens, right, is if you go, well, I was raped, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, now it's like, okay, well, we need, did you file a police report? Well, no. Why not? You were raped.
Yeah, and moving forward, like I was saying before, now that this is a hot topic and things are changing for 50% of the states, if that were to happen to you and you were to get raped, you're going to have to follow these protocols moving forward to get proof. And I believe a good majority of women moving forward, if they unfortunately encounter this situation where they are raped, they're going to have to take these steps to prove it. Hold on, let me see here. I carried the baby. Okay, you're pushing the limit. We're just joking about that one.
Yes,
but
yes.
Overall, having a say, men never had a say in anything. Like we're saying, women are saying my body, my choice. Now the government's saying this is what's going to happen, and that's what's been happening to men forever. The government's been controlling what they are responsible for and what they're not. So now this puts them on an equal playing field, and you really got to think about if you're going to have protected sex, if you guys are really ready to have a child, because a lot of women out here are just having sex and I'll just get sleep with all these men and I'll just get an abortion if something were to happen. Now you can't do that if you live in one of those states.
But see, okay, so I'm gonna go with this little thing right now. No shit.
Yeah.
So for instance, right, if a woman doesn't want to have a baby, they have an abortion. It is pro-choice. Woman has a choice. It's their bodies. They're right. Okay. But what he just said. If a guy doesn't want to be a father, well, he wouldn't. Now, if let's say, for example, his only way of not being a father is what, being a deadbeat.
Yeah, pretty much.
So it's called basically. He's a loser because he doesn't want to be a father. Well, he never had a choice.
Yep, exactly, and that's why most men, would pretty much be shamed in society because they had sex one time, had a kid. He's a deadbeat dad. He never had a say, bro. He probably I don't want to have a kid. Let's not have the kid. But it was your body, your choice. So you chose to have the kid.
It's called, what's it called? Your girlfriend. Let's say you're 15 years old. Your 15-year-old girlfriend got pregnant. Well, now you're being told, well, now you need to step up because you're having a baby on the way.
Yeah. Take care, Manny. Thanks for tuning in. You can rewatch this back later on. Go ahead.
But now it's called, but no, that again, that guy never had a choice. I mean, yes, his choice was to have sex.
They both had the choice to have sex, and again, the women decide. So you got both be held accountable, especially moving forward. Now,
what is it called? Then it goes back down to is like if you don't want to have a baby while you're in high school, because obviously you always have that girl in high school who's pregnant.
Yep.
Don't have sex. Schools need to do better about teaching students. Hey, these are the consequences of having babies. Teach them financial stuff.
Yeah, when it comes to that financially.
Teach to schools. Come on, guys, teach them how to have a baby. The ups and downs. Why should a woman learn how to have a baby by basically being thrown into the wolves, being like, hey, here you go, here's your baby. Go raise your kid.
Yeah. Well, so schools definitely, but parents as well, obviously, would play a big part of that. But yeah, there's a lot of people who usually get thrown in the wolves and don't get that education that they need moving, into the real world. Yeah.
The thing is, right? For instance, obviously, you have parenting classes that you can take and like that. But why not teach students in your high school, your college, like that, about how to raise a kid properly? Because guess what? If you're 17 years old, right? You're senior in high school, 18 for some cases. Odds are you're gonna have a baby in 10 years, if not less.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm 28. I'm almost 28. I have almost 3 kids on the way.
Damn.
But, yeah, I have a choice.
That was Soul's choice, guys.
Yeah, that was my choice. No, it was called. But no, but at what point, does it, what point as a society, as the U.S., because obviously we can't control what Germany does, what France does, what Russia, China, Japan, whatever. You can't control what they do. But this is the U.S. This is supposed to be, the state, the country of choices, basically.
Land of the free.
It's called. And so, at what point does it become, I gonna give our students, our kids, the proper training on how to do this? We don't, schools, they don't even teach your kids how to do taxes. They don't even teach you how to do certain things. So why does, why do parents, why do schools, why do certain things, certain organizations look frowned upon? I'll give an example. My wife was 19 years old when my wife gave birth. She was 18 when my son was conceived.
Mhm.
So at what point? And then obviously, we had people come to us and go, oh, why are you doing this? It's called, you're too young to have a baby. Well, I made a choice. We had a choice. We had intercourse, and it ended up with us having a baby.
Keep
And
it in your pants, Soul.
hey! I was called my choice. But no, I mean, at what point does it become, if you want to argue about being pro-choice, about it being, well, it's it's the woman's choice. Well, give men choices. Give the man a choice. What's it called? Give, if women want to scream equality for, the men are deciding what I can do with my body. Well, women are deciding what we can do with our body, in a sense of us not having sex when we want to have sex.
That's right. They're
But is
in
it called?
control, bro. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. It's called. So at what I'm not gonna preach too much because this is gonna go on and on. What's it called? But at what point do we, sit down and go, hey, these are the problems that we're having in the United States or the world, and go, hey, you know what? How do we fix this? How do we fix the idea of women being ready to have baby when they're ready?
Mhm.
When do we decide? You know what, men? Maybe we'll have less families or less kids who don't know their father, or less kids who don't know, or less kids in general who are not being born when they don't have a say in whether or not they're born or not. It
Yeah.
goes back down to is we as humans, right? For instance, cats, dogs, we decide if they have a baby. We
Yeah.
decide
Yeah.
if they get fixed or whatever. But yet, so our animals, our pets, our whatever, they don't have pro-choice life. Clearly, they don't have pro-choice. Clearly, so at what point do we sit and think, okay, well, why is that baby in that? Why is that baby in the cat's belly not gonna, even though that cat didn't have a choice in whether or not it is gonna get pregnant and keep the babies. So at what point do we argue and go, well, why are we more special than an animal? Because why? Because we can talk, because we can do taxes, because we can drive a car. So at what point do we go, hey, you know what? You're having you're pregnant, you're having a baby. What you do after that baby's born, whether it's adoption or raise a kid, that is up to you.
Yeah.
However, we are not going to allow you to murder this baby that you've conceived because you had the choice to have sex or not.
Mm-hmm.
We're not, that is not fair to that baby. Oh my, again, really, dude?
I got it.
Yeah. What was it called? And it's that point where, what do we basically like? Where do we go as a community, as listeners, followers, whatever? Where do we go? Do we what are we trying to spread? Basically, awareness for? Are we trying to spread awareness for? Hey, this is my body. This is my choice. Or are we spreading if equality? Are we because that's the whole thing. Is I've seen so many people talk about pro life, pro choice. I personally put equality. What are we as a team? Because if we're meant to be united, the United States, if we're supposed to be united, what are we united for?
Mm-hmm.
Because at this point, with all these controversies going on in the U.S., we might as well be called the divided states of America.
Yep. That's been the talk of the town, bro. It's been getting crazier and crazier with everything that's going on. So, yeah, I think moving forward, going back to the whole equality thing, women want equality, and this might be a step forward to that, giving putting women on the same playing field as men. Like the gentleman said in that video, now the government is telling you pretty much what to do, like they've been telling men the whole time. So now you gotta move a certain way, moving forward from today on who you have sex with, and who you want to have a child with. So you got to be very cautious moving forward. So yeah, we'll see where this goes from here. It is about 2:25 here. We're gonna start wrapping up, guys. I didn't think we were actually gonna talk this long. It was surprising. I was like, the last time I was like, let's get another topic in here just in case. But I did my research. Okay, today, last minute this morning, I got some shit together, got some videos, got some stuff. So kind of glad I had these videos and some information and statistics for you guys. So I think we had a good conversation about this for sure. And this is like what I want to do moving forward, weekly, and any topic we have, just put a few videos, get some stats, some facts, and we can definitely have a conversation about each thing that we present, moving forward in any of our podcasts. And if anybody, wants to chime in again, guys, in the comments, just don't be spam, please. That'll help out greatly. We don't have to keep blocking you. But yeah, so if you have any questions or anything like that, you guys can comment down below. Please hit the like button and the subscribe button as well. It'll help us in the algorithm and help us slowly grow our channel. And then don't forget to hit the little bell icon there to get notified whenever we go live. So, yeah, with that being said, guys, again, we're going to see you back. I would say the second week of August. We got a lot going on for me and Soul, this month coming up in July. I got my kids coming down from New Jersey. They're going to be spending time with me the whole month. So we're going to have some fun there. That means I'm going to have them here 24/7 for a whole month. And it's going to be very hard for me to sit down here and have a nice conversation with Soul. And then Soul is also going to be, on vacation himself. And, he's going to have his kids, coming up soon for some type of vacation or whatnot. So we're going to be fairly busy, but we're going to try to keep up with some type of content moving forward, throughout the month of July. And we'll try to post some things, in Discord. I'm going to try to get the Discord link up in the description after the video is over. I'm going to copy it and paste it in there. You guys can join. Feel free to join. I think we have a suggestions tab in there, something like that, right? So, or we don't have that yet. We got it in there? Yeah. Okay, cool. So you guys can leave any suggestions for any topics in our Discord. Please, we like, we discuss anything. This is a general podcast. We are untapped here. We're going to talk about anything. So yeah, feel free to join in. Let us know your thoughts about anything here. And so any last thoughts here before we call it a day?
No, yeah, basically what Ross said, we are going to be on a little hiatus from podcast streaming for about a month because obviously we have things going on in July. It's summer, so obviously we have things going on. So let's make sure that we join the Discord to follow up on anything that we have going on, whether it be, us just, talking with you guys and hearing what you want us to talk about in the suggestion box. We have, if you want to volunteer as a co-host one of these podcasts with a certain topic, you can sign up. You can sign up there too. Other than that, you can post little pet pictures if you want. It's called, but no, it's called. But definitely that. Keep an eye out for other streaming sources such as YouTube or not YouTube, TikTok. It's called because obviously my plan over the next month it will probably be get that up and running. It's called my main focus the last couple weeks has been Discord. So now my focus is now going to be probably TikTok and see what we can do with that. And that's the big thing is, let's say, you're watching it, you can join our Discord. If there's any clips that you want posted that you think is informational or funny or, fun, what's it called, to post, by all means, clip it, share it with us and let us know. Cause we might miss something that we don't think was such a big informational topic or pinpoint, but it may be a great little clip that we have. So obviously, make sure you follow, subscribe, hit the little bell for notifications, and as usual, live your life untapped.
There you go. You heard it first by Soul himself. Yes, guys, thank you for tuning in today, episode 6. We're gonna let you guys know by the end of the week if we're gonna be able to have an episode 7 either Monday or Tuesday next week, if that's possible. But we'll let you know, a day or two prior, of course, and you'll be notified that way. So just be sure to hit that subscribe and the little bell button there. And with that being said, guys, we'll see you for episode 7 again, hopefully next week. If not, episode 7 is going to be the second week of August, which is going to be like the 8th or the 9th. I think that's like a Monday or Tuesday. But yeah, guys, so till next time, peace out.